Hello guys, I'm Belen Huang. For those who don't know who I am or are watching my videos for the first time, firstly, welcome. And secondly, just to let you know what I do on my channel. I provide summaries of the TED Talks I've watched and, more than that, tips to help you achieve happiness, contentment, and a better quality of life. In today's video, I'm introducing you to a talk by Alain de Botton, one of my favorite modern philosophers, called A Kinder, Gentler Philosophy of Success. Let's get into it. To begin with, de Botton argues, it appears that nowadays, it is far easier to work for a living than to not feel depressed or anxious about our lives or jobs. Why? First of all, it is because we're surrounded by snobs. That is, a global phenomenon that exists in not just the UK, but everywhere else in the world, of which people take small parts of you and use those to interpret the type of person you are. To illustrate this more realistically, a typical example that the philosopher brought up is jobs. When people ask us, what do you do? The most iconic yet terrifying question of the early 20th century. And the reason why it matters so much for us is because it directly affects our social hierarchy and reputation. On top of that, this then leads to another issue which de Botton briefly talked about, our obsession towards material goods. Nonetheless, it is not about the products themselves, rather the emotional reward we gain from them as a result. Moreover, another reason why we are so stressed about our life and our career is due to societal expectations as to the extent of what we can achieve. In other words, we live in a culture which believes that everyone is the same and has an equal chance to rise and succeed in life. In respect to which, the Swiss-British philosopher states, is seemingly inspiring idea, but with a major drawback: envy. That is to say, living in a society that glorifies the notion of equality, it is much easier for people to feel closer and relatable to one another, thus increasing the chances of envy, as we only envy individuals who we can relate to and are close to. Beyond that, another factor in society that contributes to the rise of our stress levels is our fantasy, often seen by politicians, of achieving a meritocratic society, one that claims if we have enough talent, energy, and skill, we deserve to rise and go to the top. Notwithstanding, de Botton suggests, concurrently as we have this mindset, albeit unconsciously, by implication, this indicates that we also believe that ones who are at the bottom of society deserve to be at the bottom and stay there. Hence, based on this, success and failure are much more deserved, rather being incidental. And we take everything that happens to us personally. Therefore, regarding our failures in particular, the founder of the School of Life contends, it is arguably one of the main causes for the high suicide rates, especially in developed individualistic countries. On that note, de Botton mentioned, not only is it impossible to achieve a meritocratic society due to numerous random accidents and factors, we also shouldn't judge people solely by their appearances without knowing their true value. Alongside that, the Swiss-born philosopher also introduced us to the mindset of tragic art as a counter-approach to failure, so as to look at them in a gentler, more sympathetic way. Lastly, what he has talked about covers the notion of success and failure. And with regard to success, the author of The Sorrows of Love wants us to know that, though a lot of us want to be successful, we cannot own and be successful at everything. While we should also be aware that oftentimes the ideas of what success is like are not our own, rather those of our parents, society, or mass media. And hence, it's not that we should give up on reaching for success, but the meaning of success should come from and be owned by ourselves, not anybody else. Here in my opinion section, I would like to share my thoughts about success and the things that we ought to be aware of it in terms of ourselves and towards others. First and foremost, I want to say, in addition to what de Botton mentioned, it seems rather easy for us these days to be influenced on what it means to be successful and what we should do to succeed, depending on our cultural background, how we are raised, and what our society expects us to do. Furthermore, beyond measuring our success with the expectations of society, we also tend to compare ourselves with the people around us, such as our peers or, in the Botton's words, our old classmates at a school reunion, and feel inferior because they might have a higher income, own a faster car, or a bigger house. However, it doesn't have to be this way. The definition of success, such like what the Botton argues, can and must only be defined by ourselves, not society, mass media, friends or family around us, nor we should compare how successful we are with another individual. Yes, we may take inspiration and advice from others on what we could do or what ideas we can follow. Nonetheless, these suggestions that we take and goals that we have to be the ones that we truly accept, agree, and want. Additionally, apart from saying that we need to own our success, I would argue that whether it is due to societal expectations or our own, the words success and failure are often associated with earning, gaining, losing, failing. Nevertheless, here, as regard to ourselves, our progress, and our goals, I want to abandon the words success and failure. That is because whether we think we have succeeded or failed at something is all part of our progress. The same as what I mentioned in one of my videos before about the compound effect. Feel free to check it out. As long as we're moving towards our goal, regardless of our pace, how many challenges we have been through, or how rough we think the road is, we are not losing. Just as Plato says, never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. Over and above that, to take this idea even further, I'd say when how successful or unsuccessful we think we are can only be interpreted by ourselves. It is therefore absolutely ridiculous to say someone is a winner and we ought to be just like them, or more than that, a loser, particularly if we are judging them solely based on their appearances. That's to say, everyone is different in every way, shape, or form, including what success means for them. Thus, I'd say, instead of commenting lightly on others and their goals, whether or not we resonate with them, we should see what we can learn from them, acknowledge their definition of success, and treat them with respect. To sum up, what I'm saying is, regardless of what success means to us or to others, there's no reason that we can judge others solely by their appearances, as everyone has their own vision and definition of success, which we should learn, acknowledge, and pay respect to. And last but not least, with regard to our own goals, if we're continuously making progress, it doesn't matter if we are the tortoise or the hare, we can and we will eventually reach what it means to be successful for us. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you find this helpful. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to comment below or message me through social media, link down in the description below. If you have any talks or topics that you want me to do or cover on my channel, or parts that you think I should adjust and improve on. Thank you so much. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.